Good evening to you all. Today, we're discussing the third episode on Surah At-Tawbah, titled Yad Wahum Sagirun. O you who have believed, do not take your fathers and your brothers as allies if they prefer disbelief over faith. And whoever among you takes them as allies, then those are the wrongdoers. There are two opinions regarding the reason for the revelation of this verse. The first opinion is that the Prophet commanded people to migrate from Mecca to Medina, but some of them refused to migrate and preferred to stay with their families and children. They said, if we cut ties with our families and migrate, our money, trade, wealth, and homes will all be ruined. So, the verse was revealed. The second opinion says no. It says that there were 9 people who left Islam and joined the polytheists of Mecca. So God forbade the families of those 9 from staying with them, and thus the verse was revealed. What does the verse mean? It means that God is telling the believers not to prefer staying with your polytheist families over migration. No, migration comes first. And he commanded them to disavow those polytheist family members. So they asked, how are we supposed to cut ties with them? And what about our money, our homes, and our children? So basically, the verse commanded them to cut off their families if they remained disbelievers. And it also warned them that anyone who stays with his disbelieving family and remains a disbeliever has wronged himself. What's the source here? It's Lubab al-Tawil fi Morani al-Tanzil by Al-Kazin. What exactly is the question here? Pay attention here. It says, do not take your fathers and your brothers, meaning those who disbelieved, that is, those who preferred disbelief over faith. So why did it specify fathers and brothers and not mothers and sisters? Say, if your fathers, your sons, your brothers, your spouses, your relatives, and the wealth you have acquired, and the trade you fear may decline, and the homes you cherish are dearer to you than Allah and His Messenger and striving in His cause, then wait until Allah brings about His command. And Allah does not guide the defiantly disobedient people. The meaning is that Allah commanded the Prophet to strengthen the believers, to give them resolve so that they do not prefer their relationships with their polytheist families, or the wealth they have earned, or the businesses they fear losing, or the homes they wish to settle in. They should not prefer any of that over their love for whom? For Allah, for the Prophet, and for striving in his cause by fighting whom? The enemies of Allah and the Prophet, and to be patient until Allah grants them the conquest of Mecca, because Allah does not guide those who ally themselves with the polytheists. The source is Ishod al-Aql al-Salim Ayala Mazaya al-Kitab al-Karim by Abu al-Suyud. The question here is, it says, if your fathers, your sons, your brothers, your spouses, and your clan, the ones highlighted in red. So, what is the reason for listing all these details? I mean, for example, if we replaced this whole sentence with a single word and said what? Say, if it were your families, if we just replaced it and said your families, which would include all of that, and your acquired wealth, and trade, and all that. What flaw would affect the text if we combined all these details into a single word? And then at the end, what does it say? It says, and Allah does not guide the defiantly disobedient people. Allah. So, who does He guide then? He guides the believers. Allah has already given you victory in many situations, and on the day of Hunain, when your great numbers pleased you, but they did not benefit you at all, and the earth, vast as it was, became tight for you, then you turned back in retreat. The meaning here is that Allah is reminding the believers that He granted them victory over their enemies despite their weakness and small numbers, in order to encourage them to separate from their polytheist families in obedience to Allah and for striving in His cause. He gave them the example of the day of Hunayn, when they were deceived by their large numbers. They were 12,000 and said, "We will not be defeated today." But they were defeated an hour after the battle began. Then they fled, turning their backs to the enemy. Their numbers did not benefit them at all, and the earth became tight for them, so they couldn't find anywhere to escape. The source here is Majma al-Bayan fi Tafsir al-Quran by al-Tabrisi. The question here is, why didn't God grant them victory except after their defeat and turning away in retreat? Then God sent down His tranquility upon His messenger and upon the believers, and He sent down soldiers you did not see, and He punished those who disbelieved. That is the recompense of the disbelievers. The meaning here is that God sent down His help after the defeat. After you were defeated, fled, and turned your backs in retreat. He sent down safety and reassurance. Not just that, He also sent angels. You didn't see them, why is that? Not so they could fight. No, it was to encourage the Muslims to fight and to strike fear into the disbelievers, because the angels only fought on the day of Badr. They did not fight at Hunayn, on the day of Hunayn. The important thing is that God punished the disbelievers with killing, capture, enslavement, and stripping the dead of their belongings. Who is the source here saying this? It's Maralim al-Tanzil by al-Baghawi. Now, I have a question. Did any of the believers see an angel from among the angels at this battle, the Battle of Hunayn? The second question is, how did the angels encourage the Muslims and strike fear into the disbelievers? I mean, what exactly were they doing to achieve that? So if they didn't actually kill, then how did they encourage the Muslims and how did they terrify the disbelievers? Then God will turn in mercy after that to whom He wills, and God is forgiving, merciful. The meaning here is that after that punishment which He inflicted on those who disbelieved, God may guide whomever He wills to Islam and forgive whoever repents for what has passed, as the verse says. Sins and wrongdoings. The source here is Nazm al-Dara in the context of the harmony of verses and surahs with the places. The question here is, then God will turn in mercy after that to whom He wills. So, as long as the door of repentance is open to those disbelievers who were killing the believers and trying to kill the Prophet in the Battle of Hunayn, well, why didn't He forgive them before all that, before the killing, the battles, the looting, and all that suffering? The last point here, what does He actually say? Then God will turn in mercy after that to whom He wills, and God is forgiving, merciful. So, if we dropped this second mention of God and just said, and He is the forgiving, the merciful, what would happen? What is the reason for this repetition? What is the wisdom behind repeating the word Allah twice? O you who believe, the polytheists are indeed impure, so let them not approach the sacred mosque after this year of theirs. And if you fear poverty, Allah will enrich you from His bounty if He wills. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. Now, regarding the recitation here, the word La, the one in blue, was recited by Ibn Marzud as a with Makronila. The meaning here is that the polytheists, God is saying that these polytheists are physically impure, like dogs and pigs, and whoever shakes hands with them must perform ablution. This decision caused hardship and difficulty for the Muslims themselves, and they wondered, saying, well, who is going to bring us food except these polytheist merchants? Aren't they the ones who go and bring food from everywhere, from the Levant and all sorts of places? So where are we going to eat from now? So the verse was revealed, saying to them, if you fear poverty, La here means poverty, then Allah will enrich you. So what is the source from which Allah will enrich you? The jizya from the people of the book. Where is this source mentioned? This meaning is found in Zad al-Masir fi ilm al-Tafsir by Ibn al-Jawzi. The question here is, does God insult the polytheists and describe them as impure, while his main goal is to kill them so that they believe in God, his messenger, and the Quran, and enter Islam? Fight those who do not believe in God or the last day, nor forbid what God and his messenger have forbidden, nor follow the religion of truth, among those who were given the book, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. The meaning here is that when God forbade the polytheists from entering or approaching the sacred mosque, their trade with the believers was consequently cut off, so the previous verse was revealed. If you fear poverty, that is, if you worry about becoming poor, then take the jizya. So this verse was revealed, the one that says to take the jizya from the people of the book as compensation for the loss of trade with the polytheists. And the source for this is Al-Jami Liya Kamal by Al-Qurtubi. The question here is, did taking the jizya from the polytheists solve the problem? I mean, was the goal to collect money, or was it to force the people of the book into Islam after you took the jizya from them while they were subdued? What exactly changed? He remained a disbeliever from your point of view. If you consider him a disbeliever, he stayed a disbeliever because your main purpose was to spread the message. You took his money and left him in his misguidance. So what difference did it make, other than taking his money? And then the scholars come back and say, no, the Muslims, what do they say? They say, no, Muslims also pay taxes or zakat, or something like that. No, that doesn't work. Your situation is specific. You took something from him in exchange for letting him remain misguided. Let's be honest. Scholars say, no, this is in exchange for him not fighting in the army. Who told you that? This is his country. I mean, you come to a country like Egypt or Syria, invade it, and then take jizya from its people while they're humiliated, and in the end, you tell him, I'll go out and fight, and you don't get to fight or defend your own country. And the Jews said, Uzair is the son of God. And the Christians said, the Messiah is the Son of God. That is what they say with their mouths, imitating the words of those who disbelieved before them. May God fight them. How are they deluded? Here, the recitation is the word UDN that you see here. There was a group who recited it as Yudin exactly like that. The reason for the revelation is that a group of Jews, among them were Salam ibn Mishkam and Enuman ibn Orpha, and Shoz ibn Qis, and Malik ibn al-Sayf. They asked the Prophet, saying to him, how can we follow you, O Muhammad, when you have left our Qibla and do not believe that Uzair is the Son of God? Then the verse was revealed. The meaning is that the Jews say that Uzair is the Son of God. The Christians also said that the Messiah is the Son of God because God created him without a father. These two groups are the Jews and the Christians. Their words are just like those who disbelieved before, meaning the people of Mecca. And he concludes by saying, may God curse all three of them. Who is the source here? It is Al-Wazit fi Tafsir al-Quran by Sheikh Muhammad Sayyid Tantawi. He says, Katalahum, which is in the last part. May God destroy them. How are they deluded? Which means, may God curse them wherever they are. So who are they, then? They are the Jews, the Christians, and the disbelievers of Mecca. So, in this way, he grouped the people of the book with whom? With the polytheists or disbelievers. The question is, does God curse and insult the people of the book who took their rabbis and monks as lords besides God, and the Messiah, Jesus son of Mary? And they were commanded only to worship one God. There is no deity but him. Exalted is he above what they associate with him. The meaning. The Jews took their rabbis as lords besides God and bowed to them, you see. But they don't have who? They don't have Aziz, unlike the Christians. The Christians took the Messiah as a god to worship, you see, and they obeyed their monks in what they permitted and forbade, even if it went against the law. Whose law? Whose source? It is none other than Muhammad Sayyid Tantawi himself. My question here is, why is the Messiah mentioned twice in verse 30 and verse 31? I mean, if we completely remove the Messiah, the Son of Mary, here it is. And we read it, what harm would come to the text? They want to extinguish the light of God with their mouths, but God refuses except to perfect his light, even if the disbelievers hate it. The meaning is that the disbelievers among the Jews and Christians want to oppose the light of the Quran and Islam. Some people say, no, they want to oppose the evidence and the proof, but God refuses except to complete his religion, to perfect his religion. That is, specifically Islam. Who is the source? And Al-Tibyan al-Jami Liulam al-Quran by al-Tusi. Okay, I have two questions. They want to extinguish the light of God with their mouths. What does that mean? No one can ever extinguish God's light with their mouths, because it's not a gas lamp or something. Very good. So as long as it's metaphorical, like the hand of God, the face of God, the throne of God, and all that. So what's the point of even using the phrase they want to extinguish in the first place, if it's not literal and everyone agrees it's metaphorical? I mean, if we put it like this, they want to extinguish the light of God, but God refuses except to complete his light. What flaw would affect the text, as long as the word is metaphorical and not literal? And the second question is, why? What is the wisdom behind repeating the word God twice in the verse? I mean, they want to extinguish the light of God, but God refuses except to complete his light, even if the disbelievers hate it. He is the one who sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to make it prevail over all other religions, even if the polytheists hate it. The question here is, isn't this a clear admission by the Quran that Judaism and Christianity are religions, not just sects? Why? Because what does it say? He is the one who sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth. This religion of truth is well known to be Islam. Very well, so that he may make it prevail over all other religions, meaning the other religions. So, if that's the case, then the others are religions, not sects, as al-Tabari claims. The second point is that the word Allah is not mentioned even once in verse 33. Instead, it is referred to 4 times only by pronouns. For example, it says he, who is he, and Allah sent. Well, it's understood that he refers to Allah, his messenger. The messenger is the messenger of Allah with guidance, to make he, Allah, his religion prevail over all others, because this is repeated more than once, in more than one verse, twice. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode.